enlistment. Jim was being transferred to Corpus Christi, Texas, and after my oiler was decommissioned, I received orders to shore duty in Vietnam. Jim was planning to drive the panel to Corpus Christi, and I suggested we take a road trip to Denver, Colorado together, and I'd fly back to Oregon from there, and he could continue on to Texas. I'd met a girl from Denver, Colorado, when my oiler was dockside in Long Beach, and we felt this would possibly be our last road trip together, and surely the girl in Denver could line up a date for Jim. After all, he was a sailor. What kind of girl wouldn't want to date a handsome sailor, right? Road trip preparation, mattress, check. Sleeping bags, check. Record player, check. Cooler, check. Beer, check. Kitchen chair, check. We were beginning what would be our last first quarter adventure in our beloved panel. Everything was going great until somewhere between Salem, Oregon and Denver, Colorado, Jim noticed there was no traffic behind us. It was like everyone had just disappeared. In fact, they had sadly, because the old girl either cracked a piston or blew a hole in the piston and were burning more crankcase oil than gas, and anyone behind us just disappeared in a thick cloud of smoke. We knew it wouldn't be long before the old gal gave up the ghost or the law pulled us over with unknown consequences. It was a sad time. Jim made the difficult decision to part company with the panel if we could find a buyer. That proved to be a young boy whose father owned a car dealership. The father didn't want his son to buy this old 52 Ford panel with dense clouds of blue smoke pouring out of the exhaust, but the young boy could obviously see the potential of such a classic and was likely dreaming of road trips of his own. After $50 exchanged hands and the title transfer was complete, we caught a bus to the nearest airport, but not before purchasing a bottle at the local liquor store. Once on the bus, we retired to the rear seat, where we cracked the seal and drowned our sorrows all the way back to the airport to catch a flight to Denver. Denver wasn't half the fun we'd anticipated. We were in a funk and couldn't shake it. The panel was gone. Following our military service, we entered our second quarter of life, with Jim working as a policeman in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and with me proposing to and marrying my girlfriend. The day after exchanging our vows in June 1973, my bride and I left Salem, Oregon for a new life in Richmond, Virginia, where I accepted a job. It seems life now is an adventure for me, Jim, and my bride, 3,000 miles from home. Not long after arriving in Richmond, we three got together with our dirt bikes and enjoyed a ride and made new memories. It was great to see Jim again, but soon after he returned to Oregon, where he became a Portland police officer in pursuit of his law enforcement career. After 3 years in Virginia, my bride and I longed for the Pacific Northwest, so we left and made the drive west, settling in Olympia, Washington, where we proceeded to get salt water in our veins. Time spent on the salt groomed us for the next 25 years, cruising from Olympia to central British Columbia during the summer months. In 2006, we got the urge to buy a bigger boat. We found what we were looking for in San Francisco, made plans to cruise up the coast of Tacoma. We needed crew. Plans were to cruise nonstop 24/7, and we needed more able bodies to share the helm. Who better to invite than my old Navy buddy, Jim Bond? And of course, he jumped at the chance to share this crazy adventure in the third quarter of our lives. In the coming years, I visited Jim and Ginny several times at the Misty Ridge. That's what Jim called his ranch up there, the Misty Ridge Timber Ranch. It was a place to relax and feel at peace with the world. Once, one could not ask for a better host or hostess or better friends. As I recall, most, if not all of my visits alone and with my bride were during the fourth quarter. Looking back, I wish I'd invested more time with my brother in the fourth quarter, but I know we will have all the time we want to share new adventures and reflect on all the great memories of our youth when we meet in the hereafter. I miss him, I love him, and I look forward to seeing him again. That's from Gary Minot.